To the galaxy's great races we were children, the Furlians with their grandiose golden fleets, the Kayari with their shimmering beautiful cities, and the Runes with their thrones saturated in blood, all took us as naive young children, not because we were young race, by galactic standards we were, but because we are weak, or so they thought, and we encouraged. They called us children because we smiled, because we said please and thank you, because we showed respect. And when they taxed our colonies into starvation, when they impounded our trade ships on trumped-up charges, and when they demanded our young to go, fight, and die in their wars under treaty clauses, we did not bare our teeth. We filled art forms, logged complaints, and made appeals. We smiled, and they thought that was all we had. And then the Kayari annexed our garden world, a jewel amongst our colonies we called Eden, citing a prior claim they had forgotten about. We packed our colonists and their belongings onto transports and left quietly and politely. The Runes tested some new bioweapons on one of our border colonies, claiming it was a mistake. We buried the dead and cared for the sick. We rebuilt from the ashes, quietly and politely. Then the Furlians blockaded Earth's space for non-compliance with our treaty obligations. We starved, but we came together, shared what we had, and we endured quietly and politely. We recited our tired old mantra that humanity must be better, and we became the galaxy's favorite joke as a result. And then Ambassador Chen stood clutching a picture of his daughter. His voice cracked as he openly wept before the Galactic Council after his appeal was denied. The other delegates laughed and pointed. They didn't know that his daughter had just suffocated in the ruins of a mining station that had been bombed by pirates, which the council had refused to prosecute. They laugh. We did not. And that was when the first cracks began to appear. When humanity asked for aid during the Nervax raids, as per treaty obligations, the council sent observers. Our outer colonies burned and thousands died. The council's observers wrote reports and were awarded medals for outstanding work for their non-interventionist analysis. And when Ambassador Franklin protested and called out the double standards, he was promptly censored by the council. The assembled delegates began to laugh, but the laughter died in their throats as Ambassador Franklin slammed his head into the desk in pure frustration. But still, we smiled. But now that smile was hollow and a lot more menacing. Senator Arkady spoke to the council, trying to calm matters. "We are not weak. We are trying to be kind," was all he managed as an explanation before the chamber erupted in laughter. He shut himself in the office a week later. He left a note which read, "They laughed when I said we were kind. Now they will learn what will happen when we are not." The galaxy barely noticed. They called it a typical human weakness. They had mistaken our kindness for weakness. They had mistaken our manners for fear, and they mistook our restraint for surrender. They had never taken the time to study us or our history. They never took the time to see the inner demons we had finally defeated and the strength it was taking to keep them suppressed. They took us as weak and small, and not as a species which had been baptized in blood, which had chosen mercy instead. Humanity, a forgettable species too polite to be a threat, were treated with contempt. And then came the breaking point. Eridani Theta was a growing human colony world, a quiet place for artists, teachers, and families. The Ronskari fleet glassed it without a second thought. No communication, no mercy. Afterwards, they claimed they had mistaken it for a pirate base. RuneScum's channels broadcast for weeks scenes of the massacre taken from human security cameras, parents clutching their children as the sky ignited. 6 million lives gone in a blink of an eye. This time, there were no protests, no appeals, and no speeches. Just silence. Earth broke off contact. The Council received just one message. We are taking time to grieve. And the Council took it as a sign of human weakness and laughed. And we did. We mourned the dead, but we also began to prepare. The first signs of what was about to come was when the human battleship Vengeful Dawn appeared over the Kayari moon of Irith. There was no warning, no demands, no gleaming lasers, no grand speeches. Just tungsten rods screaming through the atmosphere, shattering the shimmering beautiful cities into an ugly, rubble-filled wasteland strewn with bodies. There were no survivors. 3 more Kayari worlds fell within a week in the same way, with the same horrifying, silent efficiency. The run sent a fleet to teach us a lesson. It vanished in the Perside Nebula. All that remained was a massive debris field and a single unmanned human drone broadcasting a looped message. You should have left us alone. The galaxy panicked. They begged us for talks and to stop this madness. We gave them no answer. We were done talking. When the Furlians gathered their fleet and demanded Earth's surrender, their homeworld skies turned black, not with ships, but with mirrors. Thousands of sunfold arrays bending the Furlian starlight into a single searing beam. In 3 minutes, their capital was a twisted, molten inferno. We watched on, silent. For every colony taken from us, we burned 10 in return. For every child we lost, we destroyed one of their cities as payment for that debt. There were no more appeals, no more restraint. Humanity had been pushed too far, and its mask of politeness had finally cracked. What lay beneath wasn't rage, wasn't madness, it was cold, impassionate retribution. The galaxy had awakened the thing that we had buried under arts, civilities, and peace treaties, the thing forged in trenches, sharpened in gas chambers, and written in mushroom clouds. Humanity had its demons, and we had buried them deep, but the galaxy had dug them up. And the galaxy was horrified by what they had unleashed. Years passed, empires fell, and the Galactic Council became a distant memory. Humanity's vengeance was without equal. The galaxy begged for mercy, but humanity had already used up all of theirs. Then the attack stopped. Human ships withdrew. Our final message to the surviving other races was brief. We will not harm those that do not harm us. We tried to be kind, but you taught us otherwise. And with that we vanished. No trade, no talk, and no war. Just silence. And now, the galaxy watches Earth from afar, and parents teach their children to be kind to humans, or they will remember what they were.